Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the debate of the week. And this debate of the week is about the Shield. What is going on with the Shield, and what would be good for them to become good? Let's be honest. Factions that have been created by TNA and WWE have not come out well in the last 2 years. Fortune, basically Nexus, and the one that we love so damn much, Immortal. I could say also the Core, but that one really was crap. That doesn't even deserve to have any thought at all. But still, those are the four that we currently have had in the last 2 years. Really. So, I'm not mentioning Aces and Eights because, really, I don't know if they're dead or not yet. I have a feeling they are dead, but we won't know until Genesis. We don't know who the Vice President is, and we don't know who the President is. We just don't. Now, Genesis is when they're going to do the final reveal, or at least a decently good reveal. Then I can say if they're dead or not. But essentially, all the other ones are dead. Nothing really came great from these factions. Nothing. Trying to reform the Four Horsemen through Fortune did not work. It probably featured some of the guys. Don't get me wrong, but it was no Fortune was no Four Horsemen. It just didn't work. The Nexus at first was great, and then died. The only one that gained something, just something, has been Wade Barrett, and that was not even much. Look, out of the Nexus, there's only 3 people who have been seen the most. That is Wade Barrett, that is Ryback, and that is, gotta say it, Heath Slater. I would say David Otunga, but since they make him as mainly an attorney than as a wrestler, I can't really say that he has been gotten over enough. I haven't. Because they packaged him as a Chris Masters type of person who is a attorney. So we don't see him as much. And when we do see him, he acts like Chris Masters did when he had the master lock. Yeah, I got the muscle. Come on. The only thing he hasn't done is the master lock. That's all that's needed. But you know what? This faction of the Shield, I admit, as I said in my December 31st Raw review, I really forgot a lot about them. I've had a lot on my mind. But when I did see them, I really didn't want to think about it because I was already having a bad taste in my mouth because of Aces and Eight. Aces and Eight, about 4 months ago, was not that bad. It was like dead even, just barely dead even. It was like here about 4 months ago. Before that, 7 months ago, it was here. It was just going up. It was interesting, it was new, it was dynamic. Now they hit the ground, and I'm wondering if they're dead or not. As I said before, I think the faction's dead. But like I said, we don't know what's going to happen in Genesis. Maybe the Vice President will be revealed. Maybe the President will be revealed. We just don't know. But this is not about them. This is about the Shield. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. As I said before, Dean Ambrose looks like a main eventer. He looks like, as I said, a Roddy Piper type of person. If I did say this before, I kind of messed up on the camera. Sorry. If I didn't say this before, I'm saying it now. That he does give off a Piper feel. I don't believe he can pull off a Piper's Pit, at least not now. He's not even close to being able to do a Piper's Pit. Not even close. But it's not the point. Out of all 3 of these guys, he seems to have the best potential. Second line is Roman Reigns. And as I said before, and I think I said it in my Raw review, he gives off a, should I actually say this? Because Texas Tony T may not like this, but he does give off a Tyler X feel. He does. He gives off a feeling in the beginning when Tyler X was first featured. I'm not saying before he was just dropped. I'm saying when he first came in with his dreads and nobody knew who he was, and he went through people like he was just hungry. But this is what I'm getting from a Roman Reigns. The beginnings of what a Tyler X could have had. He doesn't talk much, which is good. Sometimes in the 5 tools of a great performer, you don't need great amount of talking as a mic on a mic. You don't. Simple, straightforward words is all you need. That's what they should have kept doing with Ryback. Ryback is not a good talker, at least not yet. He just doesn't have the feel of a good talker. He doesn't. If he had kept his vocabulary short, very impactful, and to the point, I believe Ryback would get way more over than he is now. Continuing only doing the feed me more, instead of giving him long sentences and a dialogue to do, would probably be greater for his character, because he is a Goldberg character. He is. He's not even close to being Goldberg. He's not. And I believe I said this, how to make the WWE better and Ryback. I would wish, part of me just begs the WWE, if you could hear this, ask Goldberg to come back as a manager. I know people will say, I'd rather see him as a wrestler. I understand that. I wouldn't mind seeing him too. But if you're trying to get Ryback over as a Goldberg character, have a situation where Goldberg, if he has to wrestle at least once, gains respect of Ryback and becomes his manager. You can keep Goldberg there as a managerial position. Because I don't think Goldberg wants to wrestle anymore, if he does wrestle at all. Have him as a manager for Ryback. I know it sounds crazy and ridiculously stupid, but you know what? It may actually work. It may work. You got to give Ryback something new, and the way he's talking sucks. So Roman Reigns would be perfect in that he gives off a potential of Tyler Rex. And he could go off and could be a watered down version of a Batista. I know that's saying a lot. He doesn't have the same physique as Batista. He doesn't. There was only one person we had that even had that. But he didn't get anywhere. So I'm not even going to go down the road even talking about him, because I did like him a lot. It actually upsets me. But he was part of the CM Punk Nexus, as you already know who he is. So I'm not even going to go there. But Roman Reigns could be structured as a watered down version of Batista. He has the size. He gives off the type of feel of a big man that just could destroy you. So that's what I feel about that. Seth Rollins, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, is basically a Jeff Hardy type of character. He is. Well, actually, I've heard the British Fisting Off the Rope show say he's somewhat like a Jeff Hardy character, or something that he could become. Really, he fits between two people. Jeff Hardy, which he could be, and Evan Bourne, which he is. Evan Bourne wasn't a bad character, but he was never pushed. Seth Rollins gives me that type of feeling right now, that he is like an Evan Bourne type of character that is willing to go off and do anything. Super thrill seeker. But he looks like, unlike Evan Bourne, this guy could springboard off and become a very decent, possibly above mid-Carter of Jeff Hardy. Just before 2009. He could actually have that potential. But it's hard to say. It's going to count on how they feature these men. And this is why I believe the WWE is going to feature them. They'll keep the entire faction going. They'll keep them going after basically Ryback. Now that Sheamus is involved, and Sheamus is not going after Big Show right now. I do not see him going after Big Show. That is ADR's now shot. ADR's turn. Unless ADR wins the belt and Big Show breaks off, and then we'll still go after, well, you know, Sheamus. That's it. Those two have been finally broken away, at least temporarily. I do believe that Sheamus will be dealing with the Shield. Now, Randy Orton is a question. I do not believe Randy Orton will be broken away from the Shield immediately. I'm sure they're going to, as I said in my Raw review, that there's going to be a 6-on-6 tag. 3-on-3 tag, a 6-man tag. I don't know why I said it. Sorry. But I'm saying this, that if it's not coming in this SmackDown, it may be in the next Raw or the Raw afterward. I do not believe they're going to have a 6-man tag at Royal Rumble. I don't. It might be possible that they structure this, that the Shield versus Ryback, Randy Orton, and Sheamus might actually work. That's if they structure it, and I don't believe they'll do it. I believe they're just going to have a 6-man tag, either on Wednesday Night Main Event, this Wednesday night main event that just passed. I didn't see it. SmackDown that will be shown, or next week's Raw, because this is Thursday. That is what I believe. At least before Royal Rumble, they may have a 6-man tag. What do I think they'll do with the Shield? I think they'll have them fight with these guys over and over again. These 3 particular men. Ryback will still be involved with them for now, because he can't deal with CM Punk because The Rock is dealing with him. Sheamus has nothing to do, so he will also deal with the Shield. And as I said, I don't know what they're going to do with Randy Orton. I don't think they're going to have him stick with the Shield long, if they do at all. This might be it. But if they do, they got to give these 3 men something to do, because they're the most prominently featured men right now. The Shield will basically be their bitches. Shield will barely win against them. They'll win against them when there's no match, or after a match. But during a match, I do not believe any one of these men is going to lose a match to any one of them. I don't believe it's going to happen. I do believe they're going to match each one together. Ryback with one of these guys, or Orton, or Sheamus. If I have to take a guess, Ryback with Dean Ambrose will probably be the first match. Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. I would say Roman Reigns versus Ryback, but I don't believe they're going to do that. They're going to put the most newest guys who is being prominently featured the most together. So Dean Ambrose and Ryback will be a match. Seth Rollins with Randy Orton would be a match. And basically Roman Reigns with Sheamus would be a match, because both of those guys are pretty physical. That is how I believe that's going to happen. And eventually each and every one of our faces are going to win. Once that happens, the faction is going to be irrelevant. But get this, they're going to keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them even when they lose. It's going to happen. And eventually the faction will fall apart. They'll go over to eventually NXT, and then we won't see them. We'll see them only in pieces. Now, what do I wish will happen? This is what I want to happen. 1 match, 6-man tag. It would be best at Royal Rumble. It would be. It would be perfectly fine if they had this at Royal Rumble, because it'll give all 6 men something to do. In the interim, have a match with, out of the 3 different matches, 2 of those 3 are either DQ or count out, where they're just basic fights. They don't get an advantage on either man. I would believe that Ryback and Dean Ambrose, if they had a match together, which I hope they do, Dean will not need to put over Ryback. Ryback won't need to put over Dean. They will basically fight each other, and there'll be some outside interference that will keep them from really finding a definitive winner. The one that must lose would be Seth Rollins to Randy Orton. Let Randy Orton win. And when it comes to Sheamus and Roman Reigns, let Roman Reigns win over Sheamus. Let him win clean. This will be perfect. Let Sheamus lose once in a while cleanly. I know he lost a lot to the Big Show. Yes, there was always some controversy though. Most of it. But let Sheamus lose. We got to tear Sheamus down to bring him back up. He's a mess. So let him lose to someone that really needs to rub. Sheamus is the main eventer, no matter how much you like how Sheamus has been structured in the last 6 months or not. So let him lose clean to Roman Reigns. So Ryback won't need to do the job. Dean Ambrose won't need to do the job. That will make them both look good. Roman Reigns and Sheamus. Let Sheamus do the job. And Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. Of course, Randy's not going to lose, so let Randy win. This will lead up into Royal Rumble, where pretty much when the 6-man tag comes, if the faces lose, it would actually be better. So this is what I hope for the match. There won't be no really bad outside interference. Let this be a clean 6-man tag, and let the Shield win. If the Shield wins and then demolishes Sheamus, not Ryback, Sheamus, because we need Sheamus to be torn down, that will be good for Sheamus, because he needs to have a reevaluation of his character. It needs to be done either to turn Sheamus heel, or just to tear his character down so it could be brought back up. Randy Orton just came in after being out for a couple of months, so there's no reason why he needs to do the job like that. And Ryback, he needs to be progressed, so let him not get trashed. Let him be out of it. Either he got badly injured or he's knocked unconscious. Leave it at that. And then allow the Shield to continue doing what they're doing, destroying people, until eventually they deal with someone they can't deal with. That will break them apart. I can't say who it is. I don't know who. That will be for another video. I'm thinking that this will be a maybe 2 or 3 series video. I won't say series in the title. I'll just say what will be done and what is going to be done with the Shield. So I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Leave me a comment on what you think should be done with the Shield. Give me a subscribe and comment to Zane's View. And I hope you like this video. And I hope you have a good day.